Hi, I'm Steve Moy, and this video is legacy planning using pensions. Now, the government changed the legislation a few years ago now regards the way that death benefits are paid in the event of pensions. And what I'm hoping to do using my own family, and this is where I get a lot of fun in this video, is I get to kill off members of my family, is actually highlight where families can actually get it really horribly wrong and pay a lot of tax. And obviously just highlight a few points that can be made to actually get it right, and obviously highlight some potential tax savings. So we've got a scenario here where we've got my dad, my mum, I've got two sisters, and then I've got my daughter and I've got my two nieces. So that's our family. Probably look like a lot of you guys out there in terms of your families as well. In this example, my dad's got a pension fund of £500,000. Now, dad dies, and mum is faced with a question of what do you want to happen? What can happen is because dad's died under 75 now, my mum can get all of that in a cheque tax-free, which the rules around the death benefits around pensions now are absolutely fabulous. So from that perspective, mum gets the cheque, she puts it in the bank, but what she's not thought about is actually when my mum then passes away as well, all of a sudden my mum and dad's estate is worth £500,000 more than what it potentially should have been. Now, mum and dad before this cheque landed had an estate worth £650,000, which is a very convenient number. That's because it's both of their inheritance tax nil rate bands. I'm going to avoid any other allowances just to keep it nice and simple as this example. But did mum have some alternatives that she could have done? Absolutely. What mum could have done, or what mum and dad could do now, is make sure that my dad's pension fund has a trust attached to it, so that if anything happens to him, the money could drop into that, therefore it not becoming part of their estate. Second thing that mum could potentially do is make sure the paperwork's in place so that my mum, rather than actually getting a cheque or alternatively dropping the money into a trust, my mum could potentially actually have a pension set up in her name and the proceeds put in, and then mum takes an income from that. If dad's died under 75, that income would be tax-free. If dad's died over 75, that income would be taxed at a marginal rate. Now the good thing about that is if it sits in a pension, is if then anything happens to mum, that process can be repeated for whoever mum wants to leave that money to. So if it's, for example, split three ways between us as kids, we could take the cheque, we could have the money put into a trust for ourselves, or alternatively, we could actually have a pension set up for us and for us to take an income from that as well. Then if something happens to us, the grandchildren have got exactly the same options available to them. If you put a whole box around all of my family, what it means is that potentially money in pension could never ever hit the estate to be assessed for inheritance tax. And for me, it's as simple as a couple of forms being filled in to make sure that you have that flexibility. That's why I'm so passionate about this particular topic with families in the UK, that I'd urge you to get some advice around what forms look like to make sure that that happens for your family. Thank you.